I kind of look at every speaking opportunity kind of like an assignment. You know, because this is something that I didn't plan to do. As a matter of fact, had no interest in it. But about 10 years ago, I was in a position in my life to where I was a projected first-round draft pick. Had been playing a game of football since I was 7 years old, and I was watching film one day in the University of Tennessee's football complex. And as I'm watching film on the California Bears, my defensive backs coach, a guy by the name of Larry Slade, he comes into the room and he says, "Inky, I got some great news for you." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Man, can you believe you're a projected first-round draft pick? Automatic multimillionaire. I got your paperwork back. I got your grade back from the NFL. The only thing you have to do is play football." I drop the clicker, I get up, I run out of the room, I get my phone out, I call my mother and my grandmother, I get them on a three-way, and I said, "Listen," I said, "after this season, we will never struggle again." I said, "We will never miss another meal again," because I grew up inner city Atlanta in a 2-bedroom home. There was 14 of us living there, and I used to sleep on the floor with roaches and rats, and I didn't sleep in a bed by myself until I went on my official visit to the University of Tennessee, and guys didn't understand why I didn't want to go out. And so you have a host when you go to college visits, and my host came up and he said, "Inky, we're going to have a big time." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "Man, we're going to go to a sorority party, and we're going to go to a basketball game." And I said, "Man, if you don't mind, can you please take me to the Marriott?" He said, "Yeah, I'll take you. You want to go get changed?" I said, "Yeah, can you take me to the Marriott?" We pull up to the Marriott. I'm getting out of the car, and he says to me, he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "Are you sick?" I said, "No, I'm not sick." He said, "You want to stay in the Marriott?" He said, "Man, listen, I don't know if you've ever been to a college sorority party, but I think you need to go. It gets pretty wild." I said, "No, I have no interest." I said, "See, what you don't understand, this is my first time sleeping in a bed by myself, and it's a king size at that. So I don't care about a sorority party." But anyway, I start my junior season. I'm a highly touted NFL recruit, and I go out my first game, have a great game, interception, big hit. Everything is off to a great start. We get in the second game. We're playing against Air Force. Gets late in the game, about 2 minutes left in the game. And anybody that's ever watched a game of football, you know, when you get 2 minutes left in the game is practically over unless you're playing against Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, right? And so the quarterback drops back, releases the ball down my sideline, a guy catches it, I go to hit him, and as soon as I hit him, it seemed as if every breath in my body left. My body went completely limp, stiffed up, I fall to the ground. As soon as I hit the ground, I blacked out. Never happened to me before. My eyes open, my teammates run over to me, they said, "Ink, get up, let's rock, let's go, man." I said, "I can't." They said, "What do you mean you can't? You always get up, we need you." The shock eventually left. It stayed in my right arm and hand, and the doctor came out and they put me on the spine board, and as they were wheeling me off the field, we get to the ambulance, and my father is standing beside the ambulance, and I'm the type of person, I believe there's some good in every situation that we face. I believe if you train your mind to see the good in the situations that you don't like, that brings you discomfort, that brings you a certain level of opposition, I believe if you train your mind to see the good in it, it's easy to extract it. And so I say to my father as I'm lying on the spine board, I said, "Pops, I got him, right?" And he looked back at me, he said, "Yeah, you laid a nice lick on him, but I think you got the worst part of this one." And the next morning when I woke up, my perspective had completely changed. I didn't think about if I was going to play Alabama the third Saturday in October. I didn't think about if I was going to play Florida the next week. Instead, with the situation, it was a heavy level of conviction attached to it. Even though people were coming in to check and see how I was doing, I was thinking about my legacy and I was thinking about my life in a manner of such, when people speak about you one day, well, the only thing they say about you is, "Man, that guy was an amazing athlete." But I thought about my life and I said, "Is this the only thing that people would talk about you? Football?" Like, well, the only thing they say is, "Man, that guy, I remember he was 165 pounds. He bench pressed 325 pounds. I remember when he ran a 4.38 in a 40-yard dash." Or will my life have something of substance and value attached to it? Will I just be this efficient but not effective individual? I did things right, but I never did the right thing. Like, will my life have something of substance and value that when people can see me and they can point to me, it makes them want to raise the standard and excellence in everything that they do and everything they're connected to and everything that they're part of? Or will people just say, "Man, this guy was a great jock, he was a great athlete"? And when I got out of that hospital, I thought I was driven when I played sports. I thought I was dedicated and committed when I played sports. But there's a quote that says, "When do a person start to really live?" When a person has faced death. And I came in contact with death, but I beat it and I conquered it and I survived. And I felt as if somebody pulled the shades up on my life and they said, "Now you see life for what it's really worth." My perspective had totally changed. And I went to rehab for my arm for 2 years, 7 days a week, straight. I had to learn how to walk again. I went from bench pressing 325 pounds, jumping a 40-inch vertical, to now my roommates had to help me take a bath because there were certain incisions that I couldn't get wet. And so one of my last visits, I got up off the table. I'm a pretty positive guy, I speak life. You know, I believe in looking at situations with the right perspective. And I jumped up off the table and I said to the doctor, I said, man, are you seeing anything? Can you give me any good news? And he said to me as he dropped his head, he said, Ink, you probably will never be able to use that arm or hand again for the rest of your life. And I responded to him and I said, physically. And when the doctor looked at me and I said, physically, I said, I can't do some of the things that I wanted. I can't throw my kid up like I wanted to in the pool. Like some of the things I can't do. I said, but I could use this arm every day for the rest of my life by the way that I live my life, because I would never let a circumstance or a situation define my life. Adversity is adversity. And the reason I love adversity is because you don't judge a person's character by where they stand when everything is all good. Everybody can stand up and do good when everything is all good. Everybody can smile when it's sunshine. Everybody can do right when everything is going right. Everybody can do that. But everybody can't face opposition, adversity, and challenges and say, I've been waiting on you to come. I'm going to embrace you, and I'm going to figure out a way to use you, because you will never turn me into a different person. You will never make me a person that people don't recognize before the adversity. You ever seen a person that faced something and you don't even recognize it?
I do not believe that any of us have dreams that were not given to us for the purpose of accomplishing those particular dreams. I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know, that dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. And here's what I will share with you, that in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine. What you will realize is that you're greater than your circumstances, that you don't have to go through life being a victim.
I fought a good fight, baby. I fought one hell of a fight. Are there any fighters in here? Slap somebody and tell them I fought a good fight. I fought my way up. I fought to get to work. I fought to get up on my feet. I fought to stand. I fought to carry on. I fought to love. I fought to live. I fought to get out the bed. I fought with my fears, my doubts, my anxieties, my insecurities. I fought with haters, liars, backbiters, and betrayers. I even had to fight with family, and many times I laid in the bed, I couldn't go to sleep because I was fighting with myself. I fought such a good fight that when I look at what other people call a fight, what they call a fight is what I call normal. My whole perception of what a fight is has been revolutionized. That's not a fight. I fought a good fight. Good fight. I kept the faith. I kept it. I lost a lot of stuff. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of strength. I lost a lot of courage. I lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of money. But I kept down on my knees. I was still believing. Broke, I was believing. Lonely, I was believing. Betrayed, I was. Touch 3 people and tell them, keep the faith, keep the faith. If you lose a job, keep the faith. If you lose a spouse, keep the faith. If you bury your child, keep the faith. If you have to downsize, keep the faith. If you have to move in with your mama, keep the faith. If you're at your wit's end, keep the faith. If you have to catch the bus, keep the faith. If you have to thumb, keep the faith. If you get sick, keep the faith. If you lose your kidneys, keep the faith. If you got heart trouble, keep the faith. You might not get a new heart, but you got to keep your faith.
Every day we have a chance to impact somebody's life, right? And I firmly believe with the things we're part of and the things we do, we all have to have a purpose that's a lot greater than ourselves. So when we hit things that we don't understand and that brings us a certain level of discomfort and that hurts us and we just can't pull the grips on it, when we have to encounter things like that, we have to step back and we have to figure out, how can I use it? And a lot of times as people, like naturally people are selfish, right? And what I mean by that is they approach situations and they say, what can I extract from this situation and how can it benefit me? But the moment an individual shifts their perspective and shift their mentality and shift their attitude from me to we, that is the moment an individual becomes literally dangerous. Because now an individual is attached to purpose and mission. And when you have an individual that's attached to purpose and mission, it's not too many things that's going to stop them. You see, my football career ended, but my reason for why I lived my life, it never did. I just had a paralyzed right arm and hand. My mentality wasn't paralyzed. My spirit wasn't paralyzed. My drive wasn't paralyzed. My dedication wasn't, my commitment wasn't, I was the same man. I just had an extra boost of energy for why I lived my life. I wear this as a badge of honor. Every single day, the adversity, the opposition that life sent to break me, I wear it as a badge of honor because I understand every day of my life, I represent something.
Faith, to believe that what you imagine is possible. How do we start to strengthen our belief in that what we imagine is possible to turn it into reality? And there's 2 or 3 ways. One is to believe your own testimony. If you've done it before, why couldn't you do it again? If you've done it once, couldn't you do it the second time? Why not believe in your own testimonial? If I did it before, I can do it again. I was rich by age 31 and broke by age 33. But now my question was, could I do it again? And the answer was yes, of course. You know, I lost the money, but I didn't lose the skills. And that's what's important about personal development. You can lose the money, but not the skills, so who cares about the money? So we start with imagination, which is almost real. I mean, it's not real yet. It's not tangible yet, but it's almost real. Now we move to faith to believe that what we imagine is possible. So we study our own testimony. If we've done it before, we can do it again. Here's what else we study. Other testimonials of somebody who did it. Somebody that built a hotel said, yes, I started with some plans and finally believed it was possible, and here it is. Say, well, if it's possible for one, it's possible for another. In fact, sometimes when we hear the testimonial, here's how they finished. If I can do it, you can do it. See, that's a classic testimonial that gives us now what we call faith. And one of the ancient wise writers said, faith is generated by what we hear. Faith is generated by what we hear. The vocabulary of what we hear, the vocabulary of what we read, that generates faith to believe that it's possible. Now, faith is not reality. You can't say faith is nothing because it affects. It's like radiation. To us, it's nothing because it can't be seen. But radiation is so powerful it can kill you. Right? You can't see it, but it has an incredible effect. And that's true of faith. Faith can't be seen, right? With the natural eye, it can't be seen, but it has an incredible effect on your attitude, on your behavior, on your disciplines, on your work for the day, and all the rest. So faith is tangible in that sense, that it affects the emotions, it affects the drive. But we still don't have a hotel. Even though the imagination is very powerful, and even though faith is very real, we still don't have a hotel. Because faith is not a hotel. Now it's almost, it is so close. Here's what one writer described faith. Faith is a substance of hope. Now it's not a substance like a brick being a piece of the hotel, but it's almost. It's so close, it's substance. And the writer also said it's so close, it's evidence. Now, not evidence you can see, but tangible evidence that's just as real as all of our human experiences that can't be touched, can't be seen. It's called the unseen magic. Language is the unseen magic. It can't be seen. The words can't be seen as they're transmitted from the speaker to the one who listens, but it can have a profound effect. That means it's more than nothing. But to create something out of nothing, we start with imagination, then we move to faith, which believes it's possible, which is almost real. I built my first home for my family in Idaho many, many years ago. And before I started this home, to construct it, I used to take my friends out to the vacant property. And I would take them on a tour through this house. Do you believe that? Isn't that true, though? Faith and imagination is almost, it's called evidence and substance. Now, it's still not tangible, but it's not far from tangible. But now here's what we do with faith and imagination. We deposit it in disciplines and activity. Because faith without the activity serves no useful purpose. Imagination without the activity to translate it into reality serves no purpose.